This video is sponsored by HOTBRAIDS. They sent me the human hair that I'm going to be using for this knotless look. They sent me 3 packs of the texture Spanish Wavy in the lengths 20 inches. So I will put all the details about this hair and a discount code down below. So this is the braiding hair that I'm going to use. It's by Expression and I got it from my local beauty supply store. First thing I like to do is to section my hair into 3 big sections. That way the parting process goes a little bit easier. Then of course I went in with my braiding gel to clean up the parts of each section, and the braiding gel that I used for parting and for my braids is called Braid Luxe, and I got that from my local beauty supply store. So I made several mistakes when deciding to braid my hair. First, I should have never gotten my hair done before putting these braids in. I was in desperate need of a trim, but I should have just did a blowout and a trim, because with my hair being this straight and slick, it made my grip game like super terrible. And then, as if that wasn't enough, I finished a complete head of these braids, y'all, and hated it and started all the way over. So I'm going to go through and show y'all the process before and after I started over with these braids. So in terms of the braiding process, the only thing I changed the second go round is the size of my parts. So the amount of pieces that I added into each braid was literally exactly the same, and the braiding process was also exactly the same. Nevertheless, I'm still going to show this part of the tutorial really sped through because I want y'all to see the difference between before and after when I started over with these braids. The other thing that I wanted to mention is the first go round I used the screen mirroring technique to help me with parting and being able to see the back of my head, as you can see on the Mac behind me. So I had set up my camera, I did screen mirror mode, and I mirrored that to my computer. But what I found out the second go round is using the 3-way mirror just worked much better. So just keep that in mind, or at least in my opinion, it worked better for me. And this was the finished look the first go round. And I knew right here that I was gonna start over in the morning. So I'm about to walk y'all through what I did starting over and how I got things right the second time around. So the second time around, I used the 3-way mirror, and I took down and rebraided 1 row at a time, making the rows a little bit smaller than the row that I just took down. Although I was annoyed at myself for literally doing my entire head then starting all the way over, it actually worked out a little bit better for my grip game. Although they still didn't turn out as tight as I would like them to be because my hair was still slippery, it was easier to grip my hair for the braids the second go round of braiding. So for each braid, I fed in 3 pieces of braiding hair. And one of the things to keep in mind when you're trying to achieve neat braids is to try and keep all of your pieces as close to the same size as possible, because if some of them are bigger than the others, then that can make your braid turn out lumpy. I found that the easiest way to do this is by pre-separating out your braiding pieces before you start the braiding process. And I use a thread rack that I got from Walmart to do this. So in terms of the human hair pieces, I decided to add in 3 pieces per braid. But as you know, this is personal preference based on how curly or how full you want your knotless look to be. Once I got to this point in the rebraiding process, I really started to feel satisfied with my decision to start over because the parts were giving neat, they were also giving appropriate size, and the braids were giving neat. And I realized that starting over was the right decision and that the style was going to turn out exactly the way that I intended it to the second go round. So now I'm going to show y'all how I knotted off the ends of the braids. This footage is from the first time I recorded, but the process is literally exactly the same. So all I did was pull a thin strand from the end of the braid and create that single strand knot. And I do this twice at the end of each braid and pull it tight. If you do this part correctly, you should not have to add any other securing methods like nail glue or anything like that. These braids stayed put with these knots. Just make sure that the hair that you're using is a thin piece. So the rest of the video is pretty straightforward. I didn't go into details about the technique of achieving knotless or how to feed in the pieces, just because most of us are visual learners and I provided that visual in the video. But also there are countless videos on YouTube explaining how to achieve knotless for beginners. But if y'all really want to, I don't mind to record a separate tutorial, beginner style, on how to achieve the knotless look. So as we get to the end of the video, let me tell y'all some things that worked really well. This braiding hair was absolutely perfect. It did not tangle. It created really neat and seamless braids, and I just love that. Two, it was like super inexpensive. I think each pack came with 3 bundles and it was on like $9.99 at my local beauty supply. And I ended up only using like a pack and a half to get a full head for this look. The human hair has been chef's kiss. I used 2 full packs, which totaled out to 4 bundles, and I have had minimal tangles. And we all know how human hair and synthetic hair can be with these boho styles. Sometimes boho can be high maintenance when you are dealing with tangling of the human hair pieces. And y'all, I have had little to no tangling, and I've had this style in for about 2 weeks. So don't forget to check the description box if you're interested in the human hair. I will also try to find the exact link to the braiding hair that I used as well. So this was the final finished look after rebraiding my hair, and I absolutely loved the way that it turned out. I felt like the parts and the size of the braids were exactly the look that I was going for. Another huge plus for this style was that the braids were actually super lightweight. I know that it looks like a lot of hair and that it might be heavy, but it was not heavy at all. That is just the illusion that the waves of the human hair created. But that is it to wrap up this tutorial. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And thank you so much for watching, and until next time.